Hi there, welcome to my place. My name is Sylvia and this is Curupisa Crochet. Today I bring to you this nice project that you can make as a last minute gift or as a stocking filler since we have Christmas around the corner. It's a vintage Bohemian brooch that I've worked in plarn, that is yarn made from plastic bags. But you can also use cotton yarn if you like. Well, you can see this is the front of the project. It has some flowers that are embroidered in the same yarn. The back is a bit similar, but instead it has a pin, so you can wear it in anything you like. I mean, you can use it with some shawl or a handbag or a purse. I will show you how to embroider this flower and how to do the border that has picots in it. It's a very simple project, it's quite quick to make. Also, you might choose to use it as a pendant, and here I show you I used this plarn to make, but in another color. It's simply a plastic bag that I cut in a very long and thin strip, and I remember I've already showed you how to do it, so I'll link up here the video where I did it. But wait, don't go there yet. Stay with me so I can show you how to make this very easy and nice project. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notified of my new tutorials. Now, for the materials I've used, I've already said that we'll use plarn, and the hook that I needed for the size of the plarn is this one that you can see here. It's an aluminum hook that's 2 millimeters wide. You'll see I'm chaining the first stitches of the base for this brooch. You'll need 6 chain stitches to begin with. 5 will be the base for the single crochet stitches you'll make in the first row, and the 6th one will be to get to the height for the first row, so you don't count it as the first single crochet stitch. Skip the first chain and do a single crochet on top of the next 5 chain stitches. Then you turn, and this will be the increase row. We'll have 1 row to increase stitches and 1 to decrease them. How do you increase? Just do it by making 2 single crochet stitches on the first single crochet of the base. Then single crochet on top of the next 3 stitches. This is the second and third, and on the last stitch you'll do an increase again, that's to say 2 single crochet on top of the last base stitch. Ta-da! I have reached the amount of 7 stitches, 7 single crochet stitches. Chain 1, and now work for 5 rows, 7 single crochet stitches. There's no increase or decrease on those 5 rows. Here you see I've completed those 5 rows. We'll do 1 decrease, that's to say insert the hook, pull yarn through, insert the hook on the next stitch. Let me show you again. Insert, pull the yarn, insert, pull the yarn, and now complete the stitch, pulling the yarn through all the loops. On the next stitches, you'll do 1 single crochet, and you have 2 stitches left where you'll make 1 decrease. Insert, pull the yarn through, insert on the next stitch, pull the yarn. You have 3 loops, pull the yarn through all of them. Now turn and you'll make the last row of the front part of the brooch. You'll do 1 single crochet stitch on top of each single crochet or decrease. That's to say you'll have 5 single crochet total. So you have the complete piece that has 1 first row with 5 single crochet stitches, 1 row, a second with increases at the beginning and at the end, 5 rows with no increases, another row with decreases at the beginning and the end, and then 5 single crochet stitches. And you have to repeat this series to get the back part of the brooch. You might choose to make it separately, so you would have to start from chain base and then on, or you can choose to do as I did, that is to say to continue working in rows on top of the last row that I just made. And also you might want to choose the way to decorate your brooch. For instance, the first one I showed you has some embroidered motifs, but this one that you can see here has some tapestry crochet to decorate it. As you can see, it has one of my favorite motifs, that is to say a cactus. That would be one possibility, but in this one, as I showed you before, you see some embroidery, some French knots for instance, and bullion stitch that I've used to form this rose, and some leaves. Well, as I said before, then you would have to decide to work separately or both pieces, the front and the back part of the brooch, all at once, and then fold it and sew it together by making the border. So instead of working the back piece separately, I've continued to work, repeating the series that I've told you. 1 row with 5 stitches, then 1 with increases, 5 rows with no increases, 1 with decreases, and 1 with 5 stitches. That's what you should do to get the whole piece, and then do the seaming. You see some ends here, but it doesn't matter that they show here right now, because when we do the border, we'll hide it and weave it in. Well, now I'll show you how to do these rows. You'll have to thread some plarn in a large needle. Then when you have it, do this. From the back to the front of the piece, pull the yarn with the needle. Choose another place. Once you've decided where it will be, where the rows will be, we'll make the first petal of the rose. Then on that other spot, insert it towards the back and pull it through again to the front in the same place where you did it. Wrap the yarn around the needle and then pull the yarn very carefully so you don't rip your plarn. Remember, it's quite a delicate material. It breaks easily. So pull that yarn and you'll form a bouillon stitch. Then insert the needle towards the back to complete that first petal. Now pull the needle again towards the front. Choose the other place to insert the needle to the back, and then bring it to the front. Wrap the yarn around the needle several times. Here it will be 8 times, and pull the needle through that bouillon, those curls of yarn, and then again insert the needle towards the back and bring it to the front where you consider the next petal would look nice. You will be placing the petals around the first one so you can form the rose. And repeat the same work. I did it on the other brooch some 4 times. 4 petals or 5, I think. Again, wrap about 8 times the yarn around the needle. Pull it through those yarn curls, and you see it's starting to show the shape of the rose. I remember I learned to do this kind of stitching when I was a teenager. Here in Argentina it is customary to sell things to gather some money for the times you have to travel somewhere with your schoolmates. It used to be a tradition when I was in high school or secondary school to travel to Bariloche, which is a place where it snows, or to Villa Carlos Paz, a place in Córdoba. And for those trips we had to gather some money, and my schoolmates would sell empanadas or pastelitos to get that money. And what I did was to sell some baby booties that my mother or my aunt Isabel would make, and I would help them make them, mostly by stitching these pretty cute and small roses with this technique. So I recall to have learned then to do this kind of work. I myself made some baby booties, and well, then I would go to my neighbor's house and offer the booties so I could get some money for my school trips. Well, you can see now I have completed this rose. I think I should add some French knots that would resemble some little blossoms or or so, and then the leaves and branches. For that I have my needle threaded with some green plarn. The same work that you can see, as I told you, well, that we made when I was a teenager, you can do with some embroidery thread or even with some cotton yarn. Here I'm stitching the stem of the flower with some back stitch, and now I'll make the leaves. For that, you pull the plarn towards the front and place it like this. Hold it because you'll insert the needle to the back and then to the front, and the yarn should go like this around the needle, just this once. Pull the yarn, the thread I mean. I get confused now. And then in the same place that the needle went through, pull the needle to the back, and then you have the first leaf. And do the same on the other side of the flower to get the second leaf. You might learn better and understand it better if you check some YouTube channels that have better tutorials to embroider this kind of stitch, but well, I think you get the idea. And then I will add some French knots. For that, you pull the thread to the yarn to the front, and placing the needle like this, you wrap that yarn around it twice or 3 times and put the needle to the back again, so you get a nice knot that looks like a little blossom. Again, wrap twice or 3 times the yarn around the needle and pull the needle to the back. You might do it several times around that rose, and it would look very nice with another color of yarn, for instance, the same color that you used for the rose. And well, with this kind of project and yarn, you just tie a knot to fix it and clip the yarn, and that's it. And now we'll fold the front and back pieces. You might want to add some other details. In this part, on the other brooch, I inserted the pin, safety pin, like this one that I bought in bulk, like you see here. So I placed it from the inside to the outside and did some stitching to fix it, to fixate it, I mean. But you might choose to sew it to the back. Here you see I did the same. It's set from the inside of the piece, but you might choose, as I was about to tell you, to sew it once you've finished the piece. And you see we tackled that part of embroidering the flowers and putting the pin before we begin with the seaming of the piece and with the border that you can see here, it has some single crochet stitches and picots that I've already did in half of the brooch. I will show you, this is the upper part of the brooch, and you'll repeat the same work in the lower part. In the first stitch of this last row, you'll insert the hook through, grabbing both the back and the front part. In the first stitch, 1 single crochet. On the second, you work 1 half double crochet. Don't forget to grab both pieces. On top of the third stitch, a double crochet and a picot on top of it. That's to say 3 chains and 1 slip stitch. On the next stitch, you'll work 1 half double crochet, and on top of the last stitch of the top, 1 single crochet, and you might want to do another picot. Maybe you might make it on the next single crochet. Now we'll work on the side on the same base that you used for the last stitch of the top, 1 single crochet, and now you do all single crochet stitches, but in every 3 stitches place 1 picot. That's to say you'll do 1, 2 single crochet, and on the third 1 single crochet stitch and 1 picot on top of it. Well, I have to stop because I was about to forget that I have to fill this piece. And for the filling, since I've been working with plarn, I'll use the handles that are reserved for this one, so I don't have to throw it to the garbage, and I'm able to use the whole bag. As I said, use it as a filling. Just 1 handle is enough, is plenty to get that plump shape. And now we'll be able to continue. Again, you'll do 1 single crochet, another single crochet, and the third one where I'll place a picot on top of that single crochet. If you did the same amount of rows as I did, you'll see that it gets a symmetrical distribution. So, and then on this last one, another single crochet and a slip stitch to join the round of the border, and then check the way it turns out. And voila, you have a brooch almost finished. Let's check the piece and compare it to the other one. This one is more colorful and the other one looks more romantic, doesn't it? That has to do with the color choice. Well, now you only need to attach the pin if you didn't before. And then you have it. I hope you liked this project and try to make it. It's easy and it's very fast to make. You might, as I told you, choose another kind of yarn. I like to make it in plarn because it's resistant, and I like to use my bags. and not throw them to the landfill. So now let me tell you that this piece is an idea for a present for Mother's Day. Here in Argentina we celebrate that next Sunday, so this is a shout out to all of the mothers that are celebrating their day, and especially dedicated to my mom, Aurelia, who is a sunshine in my life. I love you, mommy. Well, see you next time.